Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage at the edge of a great green forest, lived a mother pig with her 3 little pigs. The day came when the little pigs were old enough to go out into the world and build their own homes. Mother Pig gathered them close, her heart filled with both pride and a little bit of worry. She gave each of them a big hug and a kiss, and said, "My dears, it's time for you to seek your fortune. Go and build the best houses you can. But always remember, whatever you do, do it with all your might, for that is the key to success. And be very, very careful of the big bad wolf who roams these woods. He would love nothing more than to have a little pig for his dinner, with their mother's loving words echoing in their ears." The 3 little pigs waved goodbye and trotted off down the lane, their curly tails wagging with excitement. The first little pig was a cheerful and rather lazy fellow. He loved to play and sing and dance more than anything else. As he journeyed, he met a man carrying a large bundle of straw. "Please, sir," said the first little pig, "could you spare me some of that straw to build my house?" The man kindly agreed, and the first little pig was delighted. "This is perfect," he thought. "I can build my house quickly and have the rest of the day to play." So he took the straw, and in no time at all, he had built a simple little house of straw. He danced around it, singing, "I built my house of straw, I built my house of hay. I'll toot my flute and have no fear, the wolf can't get me here." He then settled inside for a nice long nap. The second little pig was a bit more industrious than his brother, but he was also in a hurry to finish his work and have some fun. He walked a little further down the road and soon came across a man with a cart full of sticks. "Excuse me," said the second little pig politely, "may I please have some of those sticks to build a house?" The man, seeing the pig's earnest face, gave him a big bundle of sticks. The second pig thought, "A house of sticks is much stronger than straw, but still quick to build." He worked a little harder than his brother, gathering the sticks and tying them together. Before long, his house of sticks was complete. It looked a bit sturdier than the straw house, and he was quite pleased with himself. He peeked inside, proud of his handiwork, and then went off to find his brother to play. Now, the third little pig was very different. He was patient, hard-working, and wise. He remembered his mother's words about doing things with all his might. He knew that a strong house was the most important thing, especially with a wolf around. He traveled much farther than his brothers, passing by fields of flowers and shady groves, until he met a man with a wagon full of heavy red bricks. "Oh, please, sir," said the third little pig, "could I have some of those bricks to build my house?" The man was impressed by the little pig's determination and gave him a generous pile of bricks. The third little pig knew this would be hard work. He had to carry the heavy bricks one by one, mix the mortar, and lay each brick carefully in place. He worked all day long, from sunrise to sunset, without stopping to play. His brothers came by and teased him. "Why are you working so hard?" they laughed. "Come and play with us." But the third little pig just shook his head and said, "I will play when my work is done and my house is safe and strong." Finally, after a lot of hard work, his sturdy brick house was finished. It had a strong foundation, thick walls, a solid roof, and a big heavy wooden door with a strong lock. It even had a fireplace and a tall chimney. The third little pig sighed with satisfaction. He felt safe and secure. The very next day, the big bad wolf came strolling through the woods, and his sharp eyes spotted the little house of straw. He crept up to the door and licked his lips, smelling the delicious little pig inside. He knocked on the door and said in his sweetest, most charming voice, little pig, let me come in." The first little pig's heart jumped with fear. He squeaked, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." The wolf's voice turned gruff and angry. "Then I'll huff and I'll blow your house in." And with that, he took a deep breath and he huffed and he puffed and he blew with all his might. The straw house, being so weak, flew apart in an instant. The terrified first little pig squealed and ran as fast as his little legs could carry him all the way to his brother's house of sticks. He scrambled inside, and they barred the door just as the wolf arrived. The wolf knocked on the wooden stick door. Little pigs, let me come in." The two pigs, trembling inside, cried out together, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin-chins." The wolf growled, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." He took a mighty breath and he huffed, and the house of sticks began to creak and shake. He huffed and puffed again, and with a great crash, the sticks tumbled down. The two little pigs screamed and raced away, not looking back until they reached their brother's house of bricks. They pounded on the heavy door, "Brother, brother, let us in. The big bad wolf is coming." The third little pig quickly opened the door, and his two brothers tumbled inside, breathless and scared. He calmly shut the heavy door and bolted it tight, just as the wolf, now very hungry and very cross, appeared at the gate. The wolf pounded on the brick door. Little pigs, let me come in." The three pigs, now feeling much safer, shouted back, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin-chins." "We'll see about that," snarled the wolf. "I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." He huffed, and he puffed. Nothing happened. He huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed and puffed again, his face turning red and then purple with the effort. But the brick house stood firm and strong. Not a single brick moved. The wolf was exhausted and furious. He sat down to think of another way to get in. Looking up, he saw the chimney. "Aha," he thought with a wicked grin. "I'll climb up the roof and slide down the chimney. I'll catch them all at once." The third little pig, however, was just as clever as he was hard-working. He heard the scrabbling of the wolf's claws on the roof tiles and understood his plan immediately. Thinking fast, he told his brothers, "Quick, help me with this." He put a huge pot of water on the fire in the fireplace and built the flames up high. The wolf climbed onto the roof, crept over to the chimney, and prepared to slide down. "Here I come, little piggies." He howled down the chimney. He slid down, 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 and landed with a giant splash right in the big pot of boiling water. He yelped with pain, shot back up the chimney like a rocket, and ran away into the forest, howling all the way. He was never seen again in that part of the woods. The two little pigs felt very ashamed of their laziness and very grateful to their clever brother. They thanked him over and over again. They learned a very important lesson that day, that hard work and doing things the right way always pays off in the end. From then on, the three little pigs lived together happily and safely in the strong little house of bricks. And they all agreed that their brother was the smartest pig of all. Thank you so much for watching with me today. I hope you enjoyed this classic story. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more wonderful stories. See you next time.